The Western Line. Zones. Zone 3. High Willhays and surrounding. Overview. Tours and features. Welcome to the zone videos for the Western Line of Dartmoor. The third zone is the tours surrounding High Willhays, in the north of the Western Line. It consists of these tours: rocks, crags and hills. East Bowden Hill. Blackdown 2.
The Redaven Waterfall Rocks.
Row Tour. Hart Tour 2. East Mill Tour. West Mill Tour. Little Tour. The Curtery Clitters. Yes Tour 1. Hampster Tour. High Willhays. Fordsland Ledge. Best approach and route. To hike this zone, you can travel to the town of Oakhampton and head up Station Road, which becomes Tours Road, which becomes Camp Road, until you pass the entrance to Oakhampton Military Camp, and then can alternately choose a road over the bridge or before the bridge that suits your journey. From here you can begin to navigate. Feature 19.
East Bowden Hill.
At 427 metres, at the north of this zone, around Oakhampton Military Camp, is a hill with a flagpole away from its summit, oddly unnamed by any map. Conspicuously providing a landmark to fill a void of named features on most maps, this hill lies south of East Bowden Farm and is well tracked. Sporadic cotton grasses line the top in late spring to early summer. 20. Blackdown 2. 436 metres. Directly south and close to Oakhampton Military Camp marks the hill of Blackdown, the second recorded feature with this name on the Western Line. Taking the road turning right before the bridge over Moorbrook will lead you to several car pull-in bays. From here you can ascend following a wall on its left side. Up on top there is a flagpole with a concrete cross in the earth, and further southwest there are two military huts and views out to the rear of Longstone Hill. Yes Tour 1 and West Mill Tour. Tower Overview.
Feature 20B. The Redaven Waterfall Rocks. At 415 metres. From the base of the previous hill, Blackdown 2, nearest the camp, is a parking bay where two roads and a track join together in a squashed crossroads. From this bay, instead of following the farmer's wall up to Blackdown 2, take the stony track southwest. Walking this, you will pass a large pond on your left called Blackdown Pool. This feature is very striking when seen from above on either West Mill Tour or Yes Tour 1, which on a clear day can also be seen reflected in the pool when beside it. Continue on the track and you will notice first some tracks spurring off north that again climb to the summit of Blackdown 2. Ignore these, and when the track next forks, take the left option. This will take you to the brook of the Red Arvan, and a curiously ill-traversable ford where the stream splashes across, cutting into the track. If you were to cross here, upstream is the best bet. But on our quest, we do not cross it. Turn left at this ford and onto the moorland, and very close in the wall of the small valley the stream is carved, there is a large boulder here, and an extensive clitter field in that valley wall on its north side, heading up to a clearly visible waterfall. These rocks are not labelled on any maps, so, for want of a better title, they are the Redaven Waterfall Rocks. Another large boulder lies northwest of the ford. I recommend heading southeast up the Redaven Brook to see both the full extent of these rocks and the waterfall, which is coming from an old artificial reservoir known as Red Avan Dip.
21. Rotor at 468 meters. Crossing the road over the bridge over Moorbrook and following it takes you up the east side of Rotor, which you will see plainly as you climb the gentle hill road. Two large car parking bays emerge on your right side at the base of this tor. It is the lowest cousin of the grouping of similar shaped magnificent tors counting Westmill Tor and Yes Tor 1, which get sequentially taller with each new tor you visit. There are many useful stone tracks ringing the perimeter of Rotor. 22. Hart Tor 2. Following on from the direction used to get to Rotor, instead of parking, follow this road onwards to its limits further south, wherein the car-accessible road ends and becomes a car-inaccessible track at a small car parking at a humped military outpost. Blink and you'll miss it. Here on your left, before the outpost, are the small, low rocks of Hart Tor 2. Not to be confused with its more well-known cousin with the same name near Princetown, this Hart Tor sits on the cornered wall boundaries of Hartor Farm, with Henry's Ford a short walk downhill from you to your left around the wall. If you can find a way to cross this ford over the East Oakmont River, you can use it to ascend the slopes to Natterborough Tor in Zone 2. 23. East Mill Tor at 513 meters. Remembering how you reached the observation post car parking at Hart Tor 2, you can hike south along the cobbled track that is now inaccessible to cars. Some find the stony paths difficult, large pebbles often giving way or rolling underfoot. These tracks can sometimes be softened by following alongside their also well-used grassy banks. After a short time walking, a fork appears in this track to your right. Take it and follow it around the long submarine-esque ridge of East Mill Tor on its western side. On your right, you may notice the trench of Black Aven Brook. On your left, as you turn south, try to find a way to ascend the steep slopes if you can to access the summit. Alternatively, wait until you reach the very south of the tor and ascend along the ridge at a track. The grasses can get quite long here, and the tor is more prone to higher winds than others. Near the top is a humped area lined with an old wall. Keep heading north to access multiple stacks as you descend and rejoin onto the track you were walking on earlier. 24. West Mill Tor at 541 meters. If walking from Rotor, descend to the tracks in the south and cross the ford over Moorbrook. Ascend the next similar looking tor higher up than you. This is best done on an indirect route to the left, as a straight route will take you into difficult bouldery terrain. If you wish to park nearer before you ascend, follow the route to the parking bays below Blackdown 2 and stay on the road driving south. There should appear some car parking space as the road runs out beside the base of West Mill Tor and is replaced by a stony track going the same south direction. Walk south a short distance along this track before heading upward to the left of the summit to avoid bouldery terrain. The outcrops on top and views are impressive, with some monumental tall rocks on the top. You can look down to the sibling Rotor or up to the next higher Yes Tor 1, one of the highest places on Dartmoor. 25. Little Tor. A tor that could easily be labelled as Little Westmill Tor. Little Tor is a smaller, separated set of rock stacks, essentially on Westmill Tor to its south, but separated by short distance. A sweet little spot, sitting in the grasslands between giants. Do not be fooled by the terrain to its south, where tracks may be seen. There are mild bogs here, which may be more distasteful in rainy or winter months. 26. The Curtery Clitters. The unusual term of clitter refers to a scattering of medium-sized stones on Dartmoor across a fairly wide area. These usually signify that in the long past a towering tor was in such a spot, but over the eons via the work and forces of weathering and gravity, what once was has collapsed and lies strewn across the landscape. The Curtery Clitters is the only such example of an officially named section of clitter. Head south of Little Tor, or take the stony track by Westmill Tor south, and come off-road onto the grass after the Y fork in the track to reach it. At the high end of this named clitter, helpfully, is a humped military observation post, or OP, giving a characterful landmark. 27. Yes Tor 1. Not to be confused with Yes Tor 2 near Swell Tor. This towering monster is the second tallest place on Dartmoor, at a whopping 619 metres in height. Just south from it is the first highest, its neighbour High Willhays, only 2 metres higher. To reach it from the car parking at Westmill Tor, take the stony track south and take the first fork to the right. You will cross Red Arven Brook on a fairly easy ford on the way. Yes Tor 1 is a must-see on Dartmoor, and also a perfect camping spot if you can securely anchor your tent. There is plenty of shelter around on top, a trig point, flagpole and military huts, and the height offers an amazing view to the north of Devon beyond Dartmoor. To the west is Longstone Hill. Looking east, you can look down upon most of the other tors of this zone, now dwindling below you, but tall in their own right. 28. Hampster Tor. Leaving Yes Tor 1 to the south, a rounded pancake stack is seen to the right of the track. Easily mistaken for a stack of High Willhays, this one is actually a tor in its own right. (29) High Willhays. At 621 metres high, High Willhays is the highest point on Dartmoor National Park, and the highest point in England south of the Brecon Beacons in Wales. Though I call it a tor, some would define this as a high hill, although, around the cairn that marks its summit, short walks across the grass can take you to distinct tor stacks, the next south from the cairn being another pancake-style stack object. There are many ways to climb High Willhays. My simplest recommendation is to climb Yes Tor 1 first, then head south along the grassy tracks, along the ridge past Hampster Tor. 30. Fordsland Ledge. What could be described as the most south stack of High Willhays, alternately Fordsland Ledge is its own feature. With a rock stack and a military hut, this grassy area of the hill drops off steeply to the southwest in a cliff-like fashion, giving spectacular views of the deep valley here of the West Oakmont River as it flows down into the Meldon Reservoir at Velake Corner in the west. Nearer than that, in your vision though, is Black Tor 2, or Black Tor. Across the West Oakmont River Valley to the south of you are Stengator and Kitty Tor. And mysteriously lurking below you near the river are the sparse remains of a World War II Liberator bomber that crashed here a long time ago. Additional notes and firing ranges. Nearly all the tours of this zone are in the Oakhampton Military Firing Range, which becomes active now and then through each month. You can obtain a regularly updated timetable of when training or firing sessions occur, and it is best not to walk when red flags are flying. Usually, these can be seen on tour summits or hilltops during these times.